Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Chari-Baguirmi in Chad. Chad, if you don't know, is located on the cusp of northern and central Africa. I would say northern Chad is more aligned with the north of Africa because it's full of Sahara Desert, and the south is more central because it is full of Sahel. You can see the AH of Sahel coming across here. The Sahel is the region where the Sahara and the rainforest central tropics of Africa meet and create an environment that's not quite desert, not quite forest, just something in between. That's where we are tonight. You can see just how marshy this area is, how very wet it is, and that is due to the Chari River, which you can see flowing down past the capital in Jamina, which is just on the outskirts of our province here, flowing down here and making up this border. Also, according to Google, this river here, not according to this map, but Google says that this river, which forks here and creates kind of like an island here, is also the Chari River, which makes sense because it leaves and then rejoins. But yeah, it is a huge, very powerful river flowing through. It probably flows this way, to be honest. I didn't double check. Or maybe it's flowing from Lake Chad. I don't know. It certainly is flowing, as you can see. It is a very important lifeline to the people who live here because this is a majority agrarian society. I said in yesterday's video, unfortunately, there's not going to be a Google Earth segment because there is not much to see. There's actually like no pictures. I don't think I found any pictures in this province. It's not a place where tourists go. And it's mostly just farmland and, as we'll talk about in a minute, oil wells. But this area does have a very interesting history. You can see right here is the capital, Messenia. Right there, Messenia. That is the capital because that was the capital of the Baguirmi Sultanate, hence the name Chari-Baguirmi. The Baguirmi Sultanate was founded in 1522. It was a sultanate, but the sultans were called Mbangs. And they ruled over this area of what's now Chad until 1897, when they were taken over by the French. They achieved most of their wealth through the slave trade, from what I could tell, selling slaves to the Ottoman Empire in particular. Which is very sad, obviously, but that is the story of this area. They would go raiding for slaves around the area. They were a tributary to the Borno Kingdom, I believe. Borno, yeah. Until they started to gain their own prestige. But in 1805, they were invaded by the Wadai, which is just on the other side of Bornu, which was over there. They were invaded by Wadai, became subjugated by the Wadai Sultanate, and the armies of Wadai burned down the city and killed the Mbang and his entire family. So that significantly weakened the kingdom. But it still existed and hung on until the French came and just kind of, I don't want to say put it out of its misery, but essentially it was a very, very weakened kingdom by that point, and the French just gobbled that up. They took that opportunity. However, technically, the Sultanate still exists. There's still an Mbang that lives in Messenia right here. It's just that he doesn't have any political power or any control over the region like his ancestors once did. Chad outlawed, I think at first it was the French outlawed, and then the Chadian government later, when it became independent, outlawed any sovereign entities within the country. So that negated what power they had left. But I think it was in the 90s when they ditched that rule and let people, I guess, reinstate themselves as the sultans or kings or bongs in this case. But they don't have any political power. They are just figureheads. I really like reading about African kingdoms that still exist. My sister and I are really into The Sims, and that's a whole complication. But the latest pack, the last pack that just came out, is about kingdoms, and there's an African kingdom. My sister was like, "Are there still kingdoms in Africa?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like there's like Eswatini, like there's some legit actual kingdoms." But I was like, but most of them, like in Nigeria and all throughout Africa, there are little tiny kingdoms. We talked about some in Burkina Faso not long ago. So whenever I come across one, I point it out to her. I showed her Tia Bele over in Burkina Faso. She thought that was really cool. So yeah, it's whenever I find like a kingdom or sultanate or anything that's still technically around, I show her. And she's like, wow, like she had no idea they still existed. Because there's an African kingdom in the Sims pack. Anyway, oil. Oil was discovered in this area in 2010, and they began drilling in 2011. The drilling company is Chinese. So that oil is heading over to China. From what I can see, there's been some issues with them not treating the environment very well, and the Chadian government really coming down hard on the Chinese drillers here. But Chad gets almost all of its export money from oil, so they can't go too hard on them, right? Or else they could collapse the economy. So from what I can tell, it's still going strong, but it's very questionable about how they're treating the environment and the people that live here. From what I can tell, it seems that, because I couldn't find the actual area where they're drilling this oil. It had a name and everything, but I was looking, and I couldn't find the exact spot where it was, but I believe it's down here. And there's a big pipeline going from that area to N'Djamena. So there's like potential for environmental disaster there, right? I feel like any oil producing company or country has had some kind of disastrous oil pipeline incident, right? There's always a potential for disaster, and it would be very bad here because, like I said, this is an agrarian society. It would completely destroy the livelihood of these people. But nevertheless, that is the history of Chari-Baguirmi in Chad. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a short one. Tomorrow's video is also going to be short, but it's going to be Google Earth only because we're heading over to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we're going to look at the big volcano there. You're not going to want to miss it. It's so cool. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. And after that, we're going to Chechnya. You're not going to want to miss that. I'm still working on the script. It's going to be a big video, but you're not going to want to miss it. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Please, 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 please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. A lot of my Africa videos, especially the obscure country Africa videos, don't get a lot of clicks and views. So if you give this a thumbs up, if you drop me a comment, and if you are able to, if you could hype this video, that will help push it out in the algorithm. Have you guys noticed, like I'm on YouTube all the time, have you noticed you're getting more and more recommendations from channels that have like less than 2,000 subscribers or have like a couple hundred views? I found some great channels, like little tiny channels, little tiny videos. And that's because of this new hype system that helps push out these little videos. So it does help tremendously. If you can hype, I think you can only do it on mobile still. Please, please, please do. I would appreciate it so much. I hope you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night. Good night. I just realized Bornu's over here. Not over here. I think I'm thinking of would die. Born is over